All right, beautiful day. I think I'm up to the spot. Studebaker, pure oil sign. It's got to be a hot rod shop. Well, technically it's not a hot rod shop. Hey everybody, Lon Wise with Gearhead Garage. Hey, I've been following this 61 Corvette that Chris Anderson's been building, starting to build for quite a while now. If you remember about 4 years ago, I put a little video clip in it to show you. It was actually up on the hoist in his garage. Had sat there for about 20 years, had been off the road for quite a while. Chris mentioned something in that video about, gee, when I retire, I'm going to restore it. Chris is retired. He's restoring it. His original plan, I think, was to just rebuild it, kind of get it back something that he could drive on the road. But if you looked at my other video, which was Charlie Hyatt's Innovative Rod and Custom Shop, him and Chris got together, and Charlie and Chris decided, you know what, we should probably make this thing a resto-mod. So they put a different chassis under it, and they're going to get ready to do the body work, and that's where we are today. I'm like in nowhere land suburbia here. Kind of have to be kind of quiet. Anyway, some of these guys work out of their garage. Lenny's that guy. He works out of his garage here, and he's done some work for Chris in the past. He's painted some cars for him, done some body work for him. So when Chris got ready to redo his Corvette, gives Lenny a call. Lenny says, yeah, let's do it. The car's in the garage. We're going to be in a few minutes. We're going to take a look at it and see how they're doing. It's kind of amazing that some of these guys work out of their garages basically incognito. You really don't know that much about them. Unless you find them through a friend or whatever, they're just kind of doing their thing and having fun doing it. So that's what this video is going to be all about. Let's get inside and see what Chris and Lenny are working on. I think you're going to be surprised to see exactly how this thing's going to turn out. And believe me, when they get done with it, it's going to look beautiful. Then it's going back to Charlie's at Innovative Rod and Custom, and Charlie's going to finish the thing off. And you guessed it, we are going to be back there and going to shoot that video also to kind of show you how this thing is going to be. Ultimately, the car is going to end up on the track. So when Gary Curtis Driving Experience has one of his PDS on the weekend, Chris is going to be there with the car. So let's hope that's going to happen this year. I can't promise you anything. Chris has been working hard on it. We'll see if that's going to get done or not. Hey, enough of me talking. Let's get inside, chat with Chris, chat with Lenny, see what those guys are doing. Lenny's garage here. You can tell that you're kind of getting into the hot rod shop here with signs on the wall. And it's kind of cool. Looks like an old Cadillac tire and wheel down there and everything. I hear some sanding going on, so I think these guys are getting ready to get this thing into paint. So we'll get back into Lenny's garage here. Lenny's in the back, hard at work. Chris is on the side here, starting to block sand some of that off, and we're going to interrupt him for just a minute here and see how he's doing. So, Chris, good to see you again.
Yeah, you too, Lon. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Good. So we've talked a little bit about your Corvette before I got in here, the history of it and everything, where it came from, how you and your dad picked this thing up many years ago, and the progression that you've taken from there. Kind of sat on your hoist for a while, didn't do a whole lot with it, but it was stayed in the family, which was cool. You decided to take this thing a little step further. 2 weeks ago I was out, or 3 weeks ago I guess it was, I was out with Charlie Hyde at Innovative Rod and Custom. Yep. You've been working with him on the chassis part of it, and now you're up to the point where you're doing some of your body work. And at that point, you kind of decided, you know what, I think I've got a friend that's been working on some of my other cars. I'll tap Lenny here and see if he's going to be willing to dive into this project also, and he was. So let's take a little look here around this thing, and I'll talk with you, and Lenny, we'll get to you later, and let's see where you're at, what your plans are for the car, and how close you think you are to starting to squirt some white paint on this thing.
Good. Like Lon said, been in our family for 40 years. I've had it for 20-something. Was always going to restore the car, and the last couple of years I thought about it, and you know, I decided that I was going to do kind of a resto-mod tribute car to the 61 Gulf Oil Racer that's restored down at the Bowling Green Corvette Museum. So that's kind of where it started, and we decided to modernize the car a little bit. Updated chassis, engine, drivetrain. Going to paint it white with a blue stripe, just like the Gulf Oil car that won the 1961 SCCA championships. And so we're not majorly modifying the body, but a couple of kind of unique parts if you ever looked at it. But the race car had some fender louvers or scoops that we've kind of recreated, and had some louvers in the hood. So we've made a couple little modifications and made it look more like the race car. Car won't have any bumpers on it. Got aluminum wheels ordered for it that look like the stock steel wheels. They'll be painted white. And so it'll be in a hardtop car. It's got a removable hardtop. White, blue stripe down the middle. It'll look kind of like the Gulf Oil car from 61.
So
but drive modern. Yep.
Right. So the hood portion there, the vent on the hood there, not stock, of course, to 61,
right,
but was used on the race version
yes,
of the Gulf 61.
Similar to the race car. Yep.
Cool.
So
and you had that manufactured, somebody in town did that for you?
Yep. Gentleman by the name of Don Groff did some of that fabricating on these three pieces for me, and did an excellent job. So once we bolt that down, it fits really nice and tight, and so he did a great job. So
okay,
yeah, a couple of the little modifications. The exhaust is going to come out right in front of the rear tire, and we'll fabricate some bezels for those when we get further along. Which was how the race car was, the original car. And I decided I wanted to build this car and drive it and have fun with it. So I've got a couple other older cars, and we tend to drive them less and less because we've gotten used to the modern creatures, comforts, level of performance, and that's why the resto mods are really popular these days. Guys that have had these old cars and really like the era, the style, but frankly, compared to today's vehicles, they really don't perform all that well by today's standards. So hence, people want new car drive with the old car look.
So you'll have and I think I talked with Charlie when I was out and talked with him about it also. So we're talking power steering, power brakes.
Yep, heat, air conditioning, updated wipers, wow, digital gauges. Yeah, so it should be a pretty nice car to drive when it's all done. That
sounds like it. And your goal, of course, knowing your past history with the Gary Curtis driving experience, you plan to, I'm sure, take this thing out on the track a little bit and let it stretch its wing or stretch itself out a little bit.
That's high on my list of things to do with it. Yes, it is. So it'll see some track time. So
okay, cool. So what else, Chris? Is there anything else that kind of comes to mind here as far as it looks like the rest of the body was relatively straight?
Pretty much. There were some issues with it when I stripped it down and we pulled the body off of it. It did have some prior damage on the driver's side. That fiberglass was repaired by a friend of mine named Del Van Emmerich. He restores old fiberglass boats. And so he did kind of the inner structural fiberglass repair for one of the rear outside body mounts that was damaged. And so we got that taken care of. We media blasted the car, and yeah, all the bonding strips were really nice. I mean, the car was still glued together pretty well. Just needed some TLC after, I don't know, 60 years of being shuffled around and stored and hit and fixed and driven. And so I approached a friend of mine named Lenny Swanson, and we've been friends for a long time, and asked him if he had one more car left in him, and he agreed. And so that's why we're here today. So he painted my Chevelle 17, 18 years ago, and that turned out fabulous. And I have no doubt the Vette's going to look really good by the time he's all done with it.
Well, cool. Let's get Lenny in here and let's get a little background on him, seeing as how we've talked about him. He's standing over there and kind of smiling. So let's see if we can get him in front of the camera here. Give a little more explanation of his background, more importantly, what he's done to your Corvette here. All right, the man of the hour, Lenny. Len, it's good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Let's start first off with just a brief little history. I usually ask this of all the people that I shoot of. How in the world did you get started in this hot rod business? Was it dad, uncle, cousin? Started with your tricycle? How did it get started?
Funny you mentioned uncle, because I had an uncle who was a truck driver and drove stock cars and rode motorcycles. And of course, we thought he was pretty cool. So I spent a lot of time with him as a child. My cousin Tom and I are about 5 weeks apart. So we were like brothers, and we spent a lot of time in the garage. Misspent our youth out at Raceway Park.
That's usually the case with most of us, is that somebody's kind of got you started and fed you the Kool-Aid, and then it kind of took off from there. So.
Sure did.
What's your background in hot rods? I know you're pretty influential in the Twin City area here, as far as you've been involved with it for many, many years. So.
Well, a lot of my friends have had performance cars or hot rods and that, and I've always liked hanging around with the people that did that kind of stuff. And then I started working in a body shop. I was there for 2 different shops, but total about 20 years. And that's mostly what I do. The mechanical stuff, I don't do that so much anymore.
And you pretty much, once you've gotten out of your body shop, you started working. Did you start working out of your garage, or did you just kind of?
We had, my wife and I had added on to the back of this garage. It's a very small room, but I restore antique toys, and that's what I was doing in here. And that's what I'm doing still mostly. But once in a while, I'll get a little piece of a car that'll need to be done, or the whole car. But this one was kind of special, especially since it had been in Chris's family so long. And it is a unique car, I think. So.
Well, I agree. I think it's one of those cars that, as Chris and I were talking earlier, it's to make a resto-mod out of it is definitely going to be a head turner.
Yes.
Done, so.
Yes.
So what are some of the issues, the bigger issues that you had? I mean, this is a 1961 Corvette, and that means that fiberglass on there is
Old. When I got it, when it came here, Dell had already repaired the real damage to the car. It had been in an accident and repaired poorly, and then Dell rebuilt the one corner body mount. So then everything is solid. Other than that, the car was pretty straight, and the only thing was that the door on that side didn't fit real well. So
let's walk over there and take a look at that door, Lenny, just so we can kind of see what your. As we talked earlier, fixing a door in a traditional vehicle, we'll call it a traditional vehicle that's made out of metal.
right.
Probably easier, I would assume,
Yes.
than doing something with fiberglass.
Yeah, this door may or may not have come with this car, but it had a different shape to it. And when you closed it, you could stick your hand between the gap on the bottom, and the door skin itself was in almost, well, not quite a half an inch. So it really fit poorly. So you can't twist them like you can a metal door. So we cut on the inside of the shell and spread it and then re-glassed it. I don't know if you can get down in there well enough to see. I could probably get a light, but so spread it about, maybe 1/4 of an inch, and then re-glassed it and refitted it. So now the door swings and shuts nicely, without it, and it fits flush. And so this was the worst part of the whole car, really. The car is not that bad. And as far as old fiberglass, I had never worked on one that had been media blasted like this, and it took everything off, and it left the surface with kind of a deeply orange peely. kind of a surface. It's quite severe. So we put quite a few coats of a high build primer on it and have sanded a lot.
So it's the same thing with any other body work. As we talked earlier, 90% of it or 95% of it is prep work.
Absolutely.
5% of it is actually putting paint in the gun and squirting
You
paint on it.
You could hire a chimp to do that part.
Never heard of that before, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
Process now, what you're really doing now is just going around and doing the fine tuning.
Yep, finding any
tweaks.
little small imperfections that we can. We're trying to find as many as we can and preparing it for paint.
Okay. So I noticed in some of the panels here, you've put down like a little guide code. Is that your process that you would use?
Yes. Yeah. We put a spray of black on it, and then we would take the lighter sandpaper and go over it. And when you do that, it will take the top off. So anything that's higher, it'll take that off and it'll leave the low spots. But so far, what we've found is it's pretty straight.
Yeah, just, novice me looking at it, if you look at the car itself, it looks like most of the gaps are probably better than the original coming out of the factory.
Yeah, my folks bought a brand new car in 1957, so I remember sitting in a 57 Corvette down at the showroom, and even at that age, they were okay, but they weren't as nice as the steel cars that were being built then.
Okay.
Nothing like the new cars that are being built.
Right. So process after we get done here, after you and Chris get done fine tuning and getting it ready for paint, the next step then is paint?
Paint it, and then, first we'll do all the door jams and the hood jam in the trunk, get all the little spots that you can't get when the car is closed. And then we'll paint it, and then we'll lay out the stripe, and the coves on the side are painted blue, kind of a brilliant blue.
So again, Chris's goal here is to get this thing to look like the 61.
Yep, a 61 Super Sport.
Okay. All right. And that, again, is going to take place right in your garage here, right? You're
Right
not going
where
to
it
a
sits.
paint booth or anything. It's going to be
It's-
pretty much just,
It's
let's shoot the white.
it's
shoot the
jacked
blue.
up here, and this is where it's staying until it's painted. Yeah.
Okay. And when do you think that's going to happen? I'm
Well,
not putting you on the spot. I'm just
it could happen soon, but Chris has some travel plans. I have, life gets in the way. So
okay.
I would say, it could happen as soon as a week and a half on up to about a month. And it all depends on our schedules, Has nothing really to do with.
Hey, we're in this kind of as a hobby, and it's supposed to be fun. So
Right,
it's
right.
It's not a
And
life
if
or
I-
death or.
If there was nobody bothering me and I had to have it done, we'd be done in a week.
So Chris and Lenny are hard at it here.
And when you get old, the top side of the car is a lot easier to work on than the bottom side.
So that's what the older guys do on the top side.
Once you squat down, it's sometimes hard to get back up again.
So the car won't have any bumpers on it, so we're going to kind of try to smooth everything out on the back end. So
So, Len, on some of the high points here, I noticed that you put down a little Bondo. That's just regular,
This?
yep, just regular Bondo, right?
No, this is called a glazing compound,
Okay.
and it's for filling some irregularities. This right here is some of the orange peely stuff that I was talking about. It's got a little deeper here, and so it filled it up with this glazing compound, and it sands. It's a smoother compound, and it sands easier than Bondo or body filler. Used for the detail to fill small scratches.
before I left, I wanted to make sure that Lenny gave us a little rundown on his Studebaker pickup here that was sitting in the garage. You saw that when I first pulled up here of what this thing was and how it was going to work. So I want to take a little look at it here and have Lenny explain a little bit about what it is, how he got it, and what it means to him. So give us the rundown, Lenny. What is this guy?
It's a 47 Studebaker pickup. It's called an M5, and it belonged to a friend of mine's father. I met the fellow in 1961. I was 12 years old when I started driving this, and I bought it from him 40 some years ago, and it's gone through quite a few changes and paint jobs. It rusts out because I drive it every day, winter and summer.
So you drive it, it's a daily.
It is a daily.
It's a daily.
It's our daily driver. We're gonna have our grandkids over tomorrow to carve pumpkins. I went and picked up 16 pumpkins this morning. So
cool. So what have you done to the vehicle since you've purchased it?
Well, when I first started driving it, it had a 6-cylinder engine and a non-synchro 4-speed, and that stuff was worn out. The brakes were worn out, so I put a Cutlass front clip on it, and it had a small Oldsmobile V8 engine in it at that time. And
Can you pop the hood lens so we can take a look at it?
And I ran that for 206,000 miles, and now I've got another Oldsmobile engine in it, a 330-inch, and that one only got about 21,000 miles on it.
Cool.
Yeah, so we drive it winter and summer. Got a heater out of a Pontiac station wagon, so it gets nice and warm in there.
Very nice. So the plan, I'm sure, is to pass this down to kids?
Well, I thought that I would give it to my son, but he didn't seem real interested in it, and I was driving it, so I needed a car. No, I told my wife, if I go first, you sell it to the first guy with $25, because nobody will know how to run it or operate it or fix it, so it should be money ahead just getting rid of it.